All right, Anna, we are live. We are recording, and we are talking about goals involving Trello.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Yeah.
So, Trello. And you clarified for me before we fired up today's recording that you just started it because it's my fault, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was intrigued by it, but I had to get in and mess with it a little bit.
Okay.
And then I wound up having a lot of questions. So I figured since you offered, I would take you up on your generous offer to learn some more about the Trells.
If anything, I was actually just excited to follow up with you because you actually took action, which is like, let's be real. How many people like hear all these great ideas and they don't actually take action?
Yeah.
So kudos. And thank you for showing me your private Trello. We don't need to bring it up to now on this video, but it's like, you've already built one. So
yes.
I've trained 3 other people on using Trello, and they barely have like 3 tiles, and then one. Well, I'm like, okay, you got like a bunch of tiles. So
okay, here's what I figured out about task management, productivity in general. If you're not going to use the system, there's no sense in building it out. You know what I'm saying? So like building out the private Trello page needs to be constant. It has to be constantly updated. So it just becomes a part of the workflow. Mm-hmm. So what I want to figure out is how to make that workflow because I have all these different segments in my life. And I feel like a lot of people now have different segments of their lives. You know what I mean? A lot of us freelancers are doing many different things. And so you might have to have workflow for a podcast, workflow for a blog, or maybe they can be integrated, but maybe they're 2 completely different subject matters. And I figured you're the man to talk to.
Well, so the cool thing is, yes, luckily today I have multiple boards in my podcast and I will unveil all of them to you. So
great.
That way, because there's one, obviously my most robust system was really just built for my own personal need to keep track of all my podcast shows. And I didn't feel like archiving past episodes. I wanted to just leave them there in case I ever needed a quick little, I have a touchscreen monitor, but iPhone, you can use the Trello app. I can go in there. Yeah. And just page through. Obviously, I want people to go to my website, but for me internally, or if I'm just talking to an editor, or like for example, podcast related, I want my editor to go back and look at some past episodes or something like that, or look at content. I can stick it in there.
Right.
Recently, I just launched a new board that, and I'll show it to you. But I have 3 regular co-hosts, which you recently helped me do your professional voiceover with, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I have Aaron, the sports nutritionist, and Dr. Megan, the sports psychologist, who I'm actually going to do
Megan, the sports psychologist, Aaron, the sports nutritionist, and who's the other one?
Travis Rosnos.
Travis Rosnos, the other one.
There's that professional voice. It's so weird actually watching you say it because I just hear it.
Yeah. It is weird when you meet voiceover people in real life. You're like, oh.
Do you ever actually like record?
You just look like a normal person. Like,
have you ever done a Facebook Live of you doing voiceover stuff? Or is it all NDA type stuff?
No, well, most of it is actually. Yeah, but every now and then I will film, like if I know that an ABC promo is going to air that night, I might do an Instagram story, which is 10 seconds long of like me doing maybe the tags. I don't want to say the promo. You know what I mean? Like,
so are you literally the voice of all of ABC?
No, God, no.
Oh my God. Because that'd be amazing.
It would be, if I were the voice of all of ABC, I would be loaded and we would not be talking. You know what I'm saying?
Like, come on, we should still talk, but it's like, oh, well, she's kind of busy.
No, we would be talking. We would be talking, but just we wouldn't be trying to figure out other businesses.
Yes. I think you would get bored though. You still want to have some.
No, those jobs it's a wonderful job, but it's a little bit like golden handcuffs. Like a friend of mine voices late night for a network. Mm-hmm. And so all their late night shows, he does the promos for. And he has to be available to go to the studio from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
On demand?
Do all every day. That's his job. But he makes bank. Now, I voice one night of shows on ABC called TGIT. Thank God it's Thursday.
Oh.
And so those are like the Shondaland shows, Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder. Now, those shows are going to be changing, and it could be when they're done branding the TGIT night, I'm out of a job and I won't get to do those anymore. But for now, I've been doing this for 4 years, and that's been a really nice ride. I know how much I get paid. So for every one promo that they run with the female voice, there's like 20 promos with male voices. So imagine what the men are getting paid. have more repeat business. We're getting paid the same. It's just that it's not a inequity in the amount that we're getting paid. It's just they use the male voices so much more often. It's a very new thing. I was the first woman to be used on network to promo
for voiceover
a night of shows.
Wow.
Yeah. No one thinks about gender parity in promos. You're just so used to hearing that guy. It's always a guy's voice. Like,
well, it's funny how, not to get off topic, but I mean, your industry, right? It's like your industry is like classic old corporate America, that depending on the industry of corporate America, there's still a lot of old boys clubs, right? Let's be real. It's still a heavily male dominated profession.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. It is. It's getting better. I just feel like men in general kind of are drawn to radio, to voiceover, to sound engineering. It's I'm not going to say it's rare, because it's not rare anymore, but there are more and more women who are engineering sessions, who are actually doing the technical work of the sessions, which is nice. The other day I did a cartoon. Again, it's an NDA thing. It's a cartoon for Netflix, and
cool.
The writer was a woman, the director was a woman, the sound engineer was a woman, and we had a female as a cast. It's set around teenage girls.
Girl power.
I know, it was pretty. That almost never happens. It's most of the time like with
But that
comedy.
had to be really exciting for you.
It was fun. No,
like,
it
sounds like you weren't expecting that.
No, you don't expect that.
Oh.
I mean, you don't expect there to be no women, but you don't expect it to be all women. So that's definitely a surprise. But you know. Also, too, it all depends on who's hiring you and what kind of voices they want to use. I mean, I have literally zero control over anything that happens in my career. If they want to hire me, I show up and I do the work, and I'm lucky if they keep me. You know what I mean?
Now I see that, not to reference a male reference, but it's like, that's some ballsy entrepreneurship.
I mean, anybody who's making their living as an actor or a performer or a voice talent, if you're able to make a living at it, you have to make peace with shit not working out.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Because you have to have so many at-bats in the form of auditions in order to get jobs.
Well, let's help you get some more structure and some strategy behind your other, let's go ahead and call them side hustles. Are they endeavors? Side hustles?
So here's the thing. So this is where my focus is so split. So I've talked on your show before about that I'm the author of a cookbook, and I have another one coming out.
Eat Happy.
Eat Happy. And Eat Happy 2 is coming out in November.
Oh yeah, you're on my watch list on Amazon because of course.
That sounds like really sweet and really stalkery all rolled into one.
I like to balance it, you know?
Thank you. So that's literally managing, like, here are recipes I want to try. Here are recipes that I did. Here are recipes that have been typed up and vetted. Here are recipes that have been photographed. You know what I mean? Like, that could be a board.
Oh my God! Yes, you could do we could build you a whole Trello board just on freaking recipes.
Yeah, and then stuff like promotion, like when it's time to launch it. You know what I mean? Just media stuff that I need to be doing to launch the book. Also, I'm going to be launching a line of marinara. So that's a whole other thing that's happening in addition to the private board that I showed you,
because you don't have enough.
Right? Yay.
Did you ever? Well, again, sometimes you never know where it's going to go, man. Like you launch a cookbook, then everybody claims that there's no healthy marinara once they understand NSNG and sugar-free living, like we all care about. Again, ladies and gentlemen who see this video, it's all about Eat Happy. Check it out, cookbook. Highly recommend it. I've already bought like 5 or 10 of them. So it's actually I'll have to probably get a couple more because I'm coaching somebody else on their health problems, and I'm like, all right, dude, you're getting the Eat Happy book, and if you don't buy them, I'm buying them for you. So,
thank you.
By the way, my fiance, don't get upset. When you release the book, she's obsessed, loves the book, but I downloaded and printed the index thing.
Right.
I got to take the recycling out a few weeks ago, and it's like laying in recycling. I'm like, should I take it out? I put it back in the book and put it back in the shelf.
Did it have like food dregs all over it?
No, it was recycling. So it was like the recycling that the robot garbage truck picks up, you know, not the stuff you throw back there to make topsoil with. But
right.
Anyway,
not the composting.
She goes to use it a couple of days later to make your amazing deviled eggs. And
I like those.
And she's like, why is this back in the book? And I'm like in the other room, I'm like, what? She's like, I can't stand this being in the book. It's too fat. There's papers falling out, blah, 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 blah. And
Doesn't fit.
I was like, okay. I was like, well, I printed it, which means I won it. So please leave it in the book that I paid for. Wrong way to discuss it.
Yeah. And did she win? Did it wind up getting thrown out?
I shredded it.
Yeah.
Because she said, she's like, I don't use it. She's like, I use the cookbook now more than you do. And she's like, I just don't use it.
Look at what just appeared in front of my face.
It's magical. Yeah. Wow.
Thank you, my love.
You have a magic hand that delivers red wine.
A magic man hand just handed me some wine.
That is amazing. Actually,
and he just gave you the finger. Lauren, this is Scott. Scott, this is Lauren.
What's up, Lauren? That's okay. Last time you and I did a podcast together, we were drinking, and remember I spilled it everywhere.
That's right.
Because I was channeling my. It's very nice. I was channeling my non-Italian Irish bloodline and talking and moving my hands everywhere and knocking it the hell over. So
let me just give a shout out to Epiphany Cellars in Los Olivos, California. This is the Epiphany Grenache.
Oh, I do like a good Grenache. I'm getting better at my wines thanks to her. So, because last June we were in Napa Valley.
Oh.
And then in November,
that's a fun place to be.
In November, we did South Africa. So I got to go to the South African wine country.
They have those white wines that are amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it's like a grassy, whatever they're called. I don't know. I remember they're grassy.
They do have the grassy Sauvignon Blancs, I think.
Something like that. It's a valley settled by the French. And they're known for like everything has symbols of elephants. There's elephant statues everywhere because it was a valley where every year before they settled it many, many years ago, elephants would climb over the mountains and go graze in that valley. I don't know. Now there's no more elephants. But anyway. Well, anyway, and I just got back from my Vail ski vacation this weekend.
Yeah, that looked awesome on the Instagram.
Oh, there's still a lot more to go. Because remember, I unplugged for all 10 days. There was no social media.
So you're going to do some later gramming?
It'll just later gram it. Because that was the first time I've done that. She didn't think I could do it. I'm like, don't challenge me. I will rock this.
That's pretty good.
I needed to because I do this as a business. I'm marketing and social media. And I'm like, I was like, no. I was like, baby, it's just a 1 year out push towards, we get married next March. So it's like, wow. I'm gonna prove to you that I can focus on you and me and focus on skiing and just unplugging and enjoying our vacation.
That's great.
Anyway, Trello.
Anyway.
And shout out to Swell Bottles because this bottle is swell.
Looks like a nice one. Is that the wooden one?
It's the wood one. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah. I actually forgot this. Actually, I'm podcasting with Dr. Megan Cannon tomorrow, and I left this at their offices like a month ago.
Dr. Megan Cannon.
PhD.
Yeah,
we're gonna go Facebook Live. I'm not editing shit. I don't care. We are who we are. So yeah, we're gonna go Facebook Live while I'm recording on my portable podcast gear. So just something mixing it up different.
I like it.
9 a.m. You probably won't even be awake. Well, you might be. You're a hustler. So
I have to get up at 5 these days, but that's a whole other story.
All right. Let me pop into a screen share.
Okay.
Just like
let me see.
We've been saying the word Trello, and for people who are watching this video, maybe they're new to Trello and they've never seen Trello. So without overwhelming you, look at all this Trello. Oh my God, it's just everywhere. So obviously,
canceled.
So Trello.
Okay.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, canceled is meaning this dude like canceled and rebooked cancels, and I created a category called canceled, and like you're the canceled guy. So
he's gonna always be in there.
Well, he hasn't rebooked yet. So I'm like, well, you're the only guy. Everybody else is rebooked. So obviously this is my podcasting board. This was the guy. I'm about to leave this dude, but this is the dude that I've been using from Bosnia to doing my editing.
Okay.
So I kind of created a board here just to track our back and forth communications.
Right.
And he only has access to that tile. So
you can give people access to just one tile.
Yeah, see
instead of a whole board.
Can you see this little members button on my mouse is over?
Mm-hmm.
So if I click on that, see that? There's Scott.
Yep.
There's David.
Great.
So, and you literally just load their email in. That's all it is.
Okay.
But then if I go...
hold on. Go back to that board because I see you have MP3s there. Now, are those completed podcasts or those ones you've uploaded the raw that he has to download?
So here's D. He broke my system. I don't do it this way. He just did this before I left for vacation because these are, if you notice, see Aaron, see Megan, these are your files. So
are those the ones that I recorded and sent to you?
And then he edited them and he put them here.
Got it.
So then so technically, yes. If you want to throw files here, you can. It's just my system for file management. I haven't moved everything to here yet. I live in Google Drive. So I have shared a special Google Drive folder for him. So all of my intro, outros, the stuff, the voiceovers you've done, everything sits there. And then I have another folder. So tomorrow morning when I get done recording that episode, later in the day, I'll come home and I'll upload that file to Google Drive. And that'll be in a folder. Actually, I can go ahead and show that to you. Because actually, this is stuff that you're probably going to take away from tonight and maybe talk to Vinny about. I don't know. Maybe you become the new Fitness Confidential cure-all.
Nope. That will never happen.
That will never happen. You're like, I want nothing to do with it. I don't get paid for this shit.
Vinny's producer and secretary for 3 years, and I'm good.
Hey, they got assistants now, you know?
Oh, I know. I needed assistants back then when I was producing 3 episodes a week.
Oof.
It was insane.
Well, everybody starts somewhere. That's a great entrepreneurial lesson during this. Is like
Absolutely.
Everything has to start from somewhere. So real quick, once this loads up, let me know once you can see it.
I can see it.
Okay. So I created in my drive. And let me scroll down. So obviously, here's my folders.
I'm writing notes too.
Okay. Yeah. So I have here we go. Let me open up this folder here. You notice how this folder is blue and the other ones are gray?
Yeah.
Obviously, because that's the only one that he's been shared to. So I'll go into podcast. So here you go. I've got original episodes. Yep. I have intros and outro files. I have editing needed. So when I upload a new episode, it goes here.
Great.
And then
does it notify him? Or do you just email him and say, hey, there's a new episode?
You got 2 options. You can, I'll do, here's the way I've always done it. I used to. Now I notify him in Trello. But once the file is uploaded, I would just right click and share.
Got it. That's
cool.
And
then I would just send a note. Watch this. I would, email. And then once I load the email, here, hold on, David. Hold on. Audio. There we go. I would just put a note saying episode up. Or we got to the point we've been doing this for so long, I would just go episode and the number.
Right.
And you notice how I actually, hold on, get out of here. Done. Get out of here. Anyway.
It doesn't want to.
It does not want to leave now. It's I want you to share it to somebody. Okay.
Share it to me.
It's just slow. There we go.
Okay.
So I actually named the files what they actually are. Because I want to remove the risk of an editor accidentally editing the wrong episode and sending it to me. And I don't want to have to listen to the episode to make sure what episode it is. Right? I don't have time for that. I already spent how long I'm recording the damn thing. So there's Vinny back on 54 there. So I've done that. Back in the day, I was actually naming the files. Now if I go far enough
now
forward,
it's just an episode number. Yeah.
Yeah. See that? There's the lineage. There's the change. So, and you probably don't even have to zip them, but that's something else in my steps. Hold on, let me minimize. So here's current stuff, right?
Right.
So this lives on my desktop. So these are already published. And then here's what I'm going to do to clear my hard drive. I've created on Google Drive. 1 second. And I probably could do all this in Trello, but I haven't moved out of here because I love my Google Drive.
You can upload all those sound files to Trello?
I don't see why not. You just saw MP3s on there.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a file limit.
Here's the deal.
Answer that and then talk to me about this versus Dropbox.
I have recently upgraded my Google Drive box to a full terabyte of capacity.
Okay.
So I'm paying $100 a year.
You're already paying for that, yeah.
For a terabyte of capacity.
Right.
because I've always been in Google Drive. I have other
Right.
projects on here. I can share, I can link. I'm a big Google guy, right? Like everything is my email, everything is through here. My calendars, my Google Documents section,
Right.
everything. So it's like, why would I leave that? Because this is bigger than just a podcast. So that's just my own best practice. I like everything in Google Drive. I know they're not going anywhere. I just haven't really tested Trello's file capacity, right? That's all.
Okay.
But you can upload files to Trello because because think about it. Every single photo on there is a file.
That's
right?
true.
And I've tested that. So check this out.
I just didn't know if there's limits because like Dropbox wants me to start paying and I just don't want to deal with it. So I mostly use Google Drive.
Yeah.
Because I haven't hit any limits with that one.
So hold on a second. Trello file upload limit.
Oh.
I'm going to let that search. Let me switch back here though. Well, that's while that's, doing its internet thing. So anyway, he put the files here. We had never, ever in the history of this show until February 8th had uploaded a audio file to Trello.
Got it.
And I downloaded them right out of here to my desktop, then stuck them on the Google Drive.
Great.
Now, the cool thing about the beauty of this is also navigation, right? Also, you've probably never done labeling. So hold on, let's go through this. I've already shown you members. We've confirmed you can upload files. You can add attachments. You can make comments, right? This is how you do it. Whoever's in that panel or that square or that board or tile, you want to call it, you just have to do @ and their name. So you see how he tags me? Because then I get a notification on my app or in here. But I like the app.
Kind of like
right?
Slack and
exactly.
The Facebook Messenger does that.
I tried
too.
getting into Slack.
Yeah.
And I was already into Trello. My old editor, we were trying to live in Slack and Trello. And I'm like, dude, I want one freaking place. I love
agree.
tech, but I'm like, dude, I just don't want to, I don't even fucking Here's the cool thing. You can sync Trello to Slack. You can
interesting.
You can integrate them. So I don't know if you're already using Slack, but just a yes too.
I use Slack. I have a group of women, mastermind group, and they use it for communication and uploading ideas and files and things like that. But other than that, I tried to use it with my assistant, and we just wound up just texting each other.
Right. So here's my deal. My dude's in Bosnia in a different time zone.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
And so, texting is out. He doesn't speak English very well. Like I tried bringing him on the podcast to promote him and his business. And he's like, no, I'm good. He's typing. I've never literally had a phone call with that guy.
That's funny.
Or a video call with him. We've been working together for almost a year.
So funny. Yeah.
So anyway, found him on Fiverr. Shout out to Fiverr.com. So anyway, you can integrate this and synchronize with Slack. I just choose not to. You could set up checklists. I don't know if you ever looked at these tiles.
Oh yeah, I do like I want to do the.
So you see this? You can start customizing these labels too, right? And I'm going to show you this in a bit. When I switch over to one of my other boards, I'm using these color-coded labels, and I'll show you why. Here, it's just not the way I built this board, so I just don't use labels on here because
I could use it on recipes for sure.
Oh hell yeah! And I mean, you can go and name these anything you want. You just click on the little pen and change them. You can create new labels. You got colorblind friendly mode. I'm good. I'm not colorblind. So
that's nice that they thought of that though.
Now checklists, I haven't really played with this feature that much yet, but that's why, we just message each other. I don't understand what the big deal is. So obviously you can tell I called this one team communications. So I told them anytime you need to talk back and forth with me, stick it here. If there's something specific to an episode, originally I was having him comment on that tile, but I didn't want to give him access to all my other tiles. In case, what if the guy turned into a psycho and wiped out my entire board? So this is the only tile he has access to. So that's what I like. Because if I go to, let's go to Dr. Nasha, right? So I gave him access to that, right? So you could do stuff like this. Anyway, but it doesn't sound like you're looking to add anybody. You just want to keep a back-end workflow management system in place.
Eventually I will. I do need to hire my assistant is mostly, she's remote and she just kind of does 10, 15 hours a week. I eventually will have somebody in my home.
I would really recommend building her and you her own board.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you that in a minute. All right. Because I have a board that my regular co-hosts, I built for them.
Okay.
So it's still new. Most of them have never used Trello before. So it's kind of like, hey guys, you come on my podcast every month. I'm tired of emailing and texting, and I want you just to become like a nice teamwork work area. So here is our board. So one of them, like Travis, has actually started posting his new ideas for future episodes in there. Megan did a couple of posts. Aaron hasn't done anything yet. So it's just built. It just takes time.
Yeah.
So, and I told him, like, if you figure this out and you listen to what I teach you, think about it. I was like, Aaron's a sports nutritionist. You could be building out recipes and nutrition game plans for your clients in Trello. So anyway, let me go back into that board. And obviously, like your board you built, you do not have photo image heavy.
No. But
I'll show you that on one of my other boards too. This one's photo image heavy based on, I want all of their headshots readily available to me. Even though, if you'll go down here, so there's everything there, right? So I already have a folder. I make a folder for every single episode on my hard drive. Everything goes here. There's the pre-edit, right?
Right.
And obviously, I've already done the iTunes tagging. So this is actually the finished one, because once you do this shit, like the image stays there because when I upload to iTunes. But this was a raw looking file like that until I published it. And then what I do is I drag this, like these will all leave my hard drive and go to Google Drive, because I created on Google Drive podcast. Let me go back. Oh, I'm already there. Yeah, actually, it's not in this folder. I didn't want him having access to this in case he turns psycho. So I created a podcast published history. So every show that I want, because I was running out of hard drive space in my computer.
Right.
So see this?
I know.
So here's my filing system.
Yeah.
Everything's chunked out by 25 episodes. So all of these folders here go
into that folder of 151 to 175.
There you go. See,
got it.
I'm kind of anal retentive. So
no, that's smart.
Now, here's the best part, real quick. So you got to understand history tracking. Maybe I'm duplicating my work, but I just been too busy to care, and it's working. Let me leave this. So as an episode starts here, right? Pending co-hosts. When people start booking, I start creating the tiles here. And you've been through my new booking system.
Right.
I've been getting good feedback on that.
Yeah. You answer the questions.
Right. I'm giving you kind of like, hey, answer this, give me your bio, send me your headshot. And then I recently added that new feature for people like you and Aaron and Megan where, oh, you're a repeating co-host, skip this. Because before I had them as required fields. So all of that is because I have in my website, I have it integrated with Acuity scheduling. Not, I don't know what scheduling. I don't know if you use a scheduling software or not.
I don't.
But a lot of people use Schedule Once. But I use Acuity, and Acuity is integrated with my site, and then it's also integrated with Zoom. So that's why your invite has already the Zoom information in the calendar, because all of that, my Google Calendar, Zoom, and Acuity scheduling are all integrated.
Yeah.
That's why that's so clean and simple.
Yeah, that's nice.
So when people go to my site, they book my episode, all that shit happens behind the scenes, all that crap gets dumped in, and I get an invite. And then I just go to my inbox, I hit accept, I confirm the session, and then I copy and paste all that content, and I stick it, and I build a tile. Because here, when I open her up.
Right. You have it all there.
Here you go. Everything that you fill out, I stick here.
That's amazing.
So I don't have to go. I can go to the calendar invite. Here's the other thing. A lot of people might think of this as redundancy or as duplication. I look at it as redundancy. All this shit is still in the Google Calendar, but I don't want to be living in the Google Calendar. I just want to make sure it's on my calendar. I'm like, oh, okay, I got a call with Anna tonight. Cool. And I put my phone down because I'm living in Trello. Trello is the core of my system. So everything is here. And then out of that calendar invite, because here's the thing. When you use that system, apparently Acuity scheduling uses file picker and whatever. I don't know. So anyway, I just click on this link that came through my scheduler through the calendar invite, and it gives me her headshot.
Right.
And then I download this to my hard drive onto that folder that I made. So long story short, in order to get it into Trello, I probably could somehow find a way to get in there faster. But for now, what I do is I just create the episode here, and then I create it in Trello.
Right.
And then I start putting everything in one place. I want everything in Trello. So when it comes time to do the episode, like tonight, everything is in there. Now, obviously, I didn't put that. Actually, did I make one for you by accident? No, I didn't, because I knew we were doing this.
I thought I saw my name there, but a different picture.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, wait, no, just no picture.
Hold on.
There we go.
So, here's my process. Once you're happening, then I move you into recording mode.
Right.
So now I didn't have your headshot because I wasn't sure if we we're going to podcast this or YouTube. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just make this YouTube.
Well, also because of this meeting, I don't think I filled out all the questions like I would normally if we were doing a regular interview. But yeah.
So hold on. One of your goals, keywords and searchability.
Yes.
Okay. So search window. Vocino. Enter. Everything's in here. So if I'm missing something, like a file, okay, let me go back to episode 136. So I don't have to swipe and go all the way through my visual history. I'm just going to search for you.
Right.
And there's your website. There's your bio. There's your file link to your headshot. Right? Because I didn't take it out of Trello. It's all in here. It's in this board. So I can do the same thing.
So is that also
Vinny.
Finding stuff that's archived?
I don't archive right now.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. You know how Google, do you use Gmail? Yeah, you use Gmail. So you know how Gmail, like you can't really like delete an email in your settings. If you have it set to archive, it archives it and it goes on archive. It goes on archive data. So I literally, because of Google, look at archive as deleting it. I know it's not fully deleted forever, but it's archived somewhere. So the only time I archive something is this. I just know I'm not going to touch that again. I just consider that trash to myself.
Right. Okay.
But to be fair, like there you go. Anytime that I've mentioned Vinny in Trello, look at this. It's even bringing up like here in other episodes, even you again.
Right.
So I can go back to any of his past episodes because hold on a second. Let me escape out of here. So if you go across, I'll show you the whole process.
Any Trello window that's like so long that you could possibly, I see, because you divide it up into 25 episodes
I see that. I have a system. So, because I don't want to have to scroll forever.
Ooh, I see Villicapelli garlic olive oil.
Boom. That was my own selfie episode. So tips and tricks for health, business, lifestyle.
I'm hungry for dinner.
You should look at, Instagram tonight. I posted my hot tub photo of me holding a glass, holding a wine and drinking it out of the
That's what I need, because I can't have this whole glass of wine on an empty stomach. I'll get drunk. Oh
yeah. Well, I ordered 4 of those mini bottles of Villicapelli, and I flew with all of them to Colorado.
It's worth it.
Hell yeah. So anyway, so you can see that technically my archive is published.
I see what you do. Yep.
Right. So, and there goes Andy way back on episode 24. Wow. Now, here's the thing. I did start playing around with this. See this? There's the labels. So back then, when this board was smaller, I was using color-coded labels. So you can see how everything is marked as completed.
Right. But then on the left, you have in for review, even though that's...
And I never turn these off, right? Like,
right.
See, that's why for me on this board, I was like, I'm just moving because I'm doing 2 shows a week. You guys do like freaking 3 to 5. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Because all of these tags existed before I created these published columns.
Right.
So yeah, I do have a lot of shit in here. But this is a lot just to go through for 25 episodes. So if you want, you can make it 50. I mean, I might end up changing this structure in a few months and saying, you know what? Let me condense because maybe I get tired of going from the whole left to right thing. So I'll either just add a new list and then I drag it over.
You can't put those lists under each other, can you?
I've never tried. Like here, like see how it skips around?
Yeah, it just switches. Yeah, I don't think you can.
No. But I mean, worst case scenario, you literally just drag the tiles back. Or here's the other thing. I can go in here instead of dragging, you just do move. Because you have this action section right here. So so if you're already clicking on a tile, like I have a touch screen monitor, so I do finger swiping all the time.
Oh, interesting.
And I could do this on the app too. So I could sit with my fiance and watch a movie and just sit here and just drag and swipe shit from the app. Like, so that's one thing I love about Trello, right? Is if you want to get out from in front of the computer, let's move over to the iPhone, or iPad, mind you. So
hold on, I'm going to open my Trello on my iPhone.
Yeah. So there you go. You can see that on this board, I'm not using archiving. Clearly, I'm publishing is my archive status because it's finished, right? So maybe this is whether in this world we're calling it published, because in my world I publish this to my website and the website publishes it to the podcast world. That's how my site's built. So that's why I use the word published, because for me it's not just the podcast is live, it's live on my website.
Right.
So because it's a WordPress site. So anyway, so that's that. And then here's some other statuses, right? So like, and actually I do need to get in here and clean this up, but published again, hold on. So here you go. Here's a couple ways to create categories, right? So for me, let me go back to the beginning. So once somebody moves from pending co-host to recording, I'll move Megan tomorrow to the editing audio phase and she'll remain there until I get the file back. When I get the file back, then I move it to here because I'm not outsourcing that part. I'm like, it takes me 5 seconds to add ID3 tags and do the whole iTunes thing. So I do that and then I drag it over here for the show notes writing. And I was outsourcing that and I lost that VA. So I'm kind of back doing my own show notes again. And then just because I'm a QA guy, I'll move it into pre-published review in case I'm doing a bunch. I batched a bunch of episodes before vacation. So I banked a lot up a month ahead of time, got them all ready for pre-review. Then I went through, moved it into time-stamping notes. And then right before I left, I scheduled all the shows for the whole 10 days I was gone. So they all got moved. They're all they're all mixed in. I haven't moved them around yet. But anyway, so that's my process. And then it ends up here, where after this is just my backlog. I store everything here. So all of this crap is going to get moved over. It's just, again, vacation time. Now, here's the other thing. A new best practice I've done is because I blast you or anybody on my show across iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, everything else. So as I showed you, I use Canva.
Right.
And
to make those.
Right. All the perfectly
I was
sized.
Wondering if you did that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not even a graphic designer. I just figured that shit out. So.
Yeah, Canva's amazing. I've been using Canva for my Pinterest pictures.
Yeah, for Eat Happy Cookbook.
Danielle has been doing it.
Nope.
So I told Danielle to do it.
Yeah.
No, but it's been working.
But here's what I do. So I'll go here and that's the episode. That's the original file. And here we go. So these three, I don't necessarily need these three, but here's something new I started doing before I go travel or leave or whatever, because I have to do posts later on. I will drag those files and copy them into his episode art. So I don't even know where the hell he is right now. But here, I'll go to Manus, for example. So, because right now those are on the hard drive. And I haven't, the very, very final, my whole praise is once everything's live, everything's out there, everything's been published, I clear my hard drive by dumping all that stuff into Google Drive, into that whole published filing system, right? But right now, what if 2 days from now, I want to post this dude on Instagram?
Right.
Well, once I was done with the images, I put them here.
Smart.
So I could be sitting in an airport.
So you have the
pull my iPhone up, and instead of going to the Google Drive app and having to navigate through all the folders to find those files,
it's easier to get it off the Trello.
I just open his tile, touch the file, save to the iPhone hard drive, and now I could post it. So this is your tip for your cookbook stuff, your images, everything. You really should have again, you could do this on Google Drive. This is for you, something you to think about. But strategically, does it make sense to have all of my amazing photographs available in Google Drive? Or do I want to start duplicating them into Trello, right? Like you may end up wanting to do this and saying, for example, you might end up creating a column called, I don't know, spaghetti,
zucchini noodle.
Right? Zucchini noodle. You might just have a noodles file section. And you have all the different ways you can use those noodles photos. So you might have columns or just one box, one tile full of all of your noodle images.
Right.
And I'm going to show you that actually. So real quick, are we good here? If I drop into another board, I want to make sure I'm not like overwhelming you or anything else.
No, it's great. I love it.
Awesome. So check this out.
A bunch of ideas while you're talking about all this stuff.
So this board, I just started building a couple of months ago, just because my biggest client, she's uses Salesforce as her CRM solution. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's not visual. It's very data heavy. And I was like, dude, and I'm doing a lot of new website stuff, social media stuff for her, besides the sales development work that I do for her. So I'm like, Jen, operationally, I need to live here. I was like, this is something I can always access, everything else. So this is something different, right? By the way, on the pro version, you pay the $5 a month, whatever. You notice how her logo is in the backdrop behind all this. So it's like, because then I gave her access to this, and it's a nice little touch, right? It's like, oh, that's my board, right? It's not Scott's board. So anyway, so in the beginning, I'm like, okay, so here's something earlier, right? I created a logo square, and then I just dumped all the different versions of her logos in here.
Perfect.
Right? Like, it's not a lot, just like 4 versions. But hey, okay, logos. And then I'm like, oh, you got some team professional pics? So we did a big photo shoot. So I downloaded a bunch of them with some different products that they had done. And I joined some of the photo shooting. So like that's her. And these are all like PNGs, right? But that's one of her assistants. So not everything's on there yet. But anyway, so it's a place where if I needed to go here, I need a fast access to something. I don't have to go. I don't have to go through Google Drive. Like, for example, I'm a Google Drive guy. She's a Dropbox girl. So I've got Dropbox on my phone synced to her system. So I have access to other things. But like, for example, event marketing. So I started putting images of how I show them how to do better event marketing. Now, here's the cool thing. I'd started designing graphics. So hold on, let me switch this to make see how you can use this to store photos. But let's say I want this to become the new primary image. I'll just make this the cover. This is what it originally did. Before we built this whole system out, just to show this to her, I had all of the tiles that I had pre-built. There's been more since then, but all of them just had a custom physics logo, and then whatever that tile could be, I put the words on it. Again, Canva. So I said, hey, Jen, here's what this could be. What do you think? And so that's how I presented this to her. So here's the cool thing. I will tell you, though, in Trello, every time you upload a new image, usually by default, whatever's in that tile, the new image becomes the new cover art. Becomes the cover by default. But that actually could work to your advantage. Because let's say you're building a board for your assistant. So let's say she's looking for new changes. So, okay, well, clearly there's a new image on that tile. What's going on? Now, obviously, what I would recommend you do is, let's say you just uploaded, like I threw this on here because this is a future project. I want her to redesign her business card. And I got a VA for that. But so I just created this one back on February 13th before I left for vacay. And I said, we're going to talk more about this. So I just created it, stuck this on here. But then now if I want her to come in here and talk about it, I just go @Jen, tab, and then write whatever I want. And then she'll get a notification on her app saying, hey.
That's pretty great.
Right? Yeah. So this can become a core communication center with your team.
If I make a new Pinterest picture of the scallops, then I can just message her and say, hey.
Yep.
Here it is. Do your thing. Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So that's why, like I showed you earlier, you can do messaging through Google Drive too. Yeah. But you notice how I keep coming back to Trello? This is why. Because especially you with your cookbook and the visuality of it. Now, obviously, the other board you showed me you started building, you can just keep it that way. You could have no imagery whatsoever. Because actually, I like it. It looks really clean. It's very text-based, structured. Yeah. But as soon as you start adding images, then you'll have like stuff where I think I finally added images to everything. But it starts chunking out, right? Because now you got to really scroll.
That business doesn't need images because it's either text or voice. So it's
right. So that's where I think you're going to be fine there. But then I'm actually in a process of creating more of a drag and drop flow like I did with the podcast, right? So I have okay, so I started calling these phases. So here's your process flow. Again, one of your goals, right? Process flow tracking. So for this process flow versus the podcast, I'm calling this one, hey, we're in idea generation mode. Actually, that's what it used to be called. So I'm still playing around with names. And then it's like, okay, let's go into like, oh, we're pending start. But I don't know, in your world, you might have something else where, hey, we're about ready, like tomorrow, we're probably going to start work on this.
Right.
And then, okay, now we're in the creation and design phase. And then I created this is a section where if I'm outsourcing something to Fiverr or my VA, that tile will get moved into here until they're done with it.
Right.
So that way, because the whole point of this is I don't want her asking me what's going on with a project. I'm like, Jen, just go into Trello and you know where everything is.
And then you know what it is. Yeah.
Right. So for example, then I started using see how I'm starting to add in the labeling now. Because maybe she doesn't read the freaking header, but she can read the colors. So I am doing in progress now in here. And then obviously, again, I'm using final review because I want her to review it. And now, like, so here's more Canvas stuff, right? So once I've done movie editing or new images for the website or cover arts or whatever, all this stuff is marked completed. But so now so this is actually very similar to the podcasting board, as you could tell. Because I have, anything that's image and graphics related, that's going to be in this column. And then this published column is set aside for anything YouTube graphics related. This column is going to be for anything actual YouTube videos. Like, even though like once a video goes live on YouTube, she's getting notified, but she's too busy running her company. She has no clue what's going on. So I'm like, hey, I'll tag you in here. And if you see the tile over there, you know it's live. Right. So, and then I've got published web pages, blog posts. Blog posts are key. And then anything I deleted, like, because actually this was something new. She dropped this product line for her sales and marketing company. So I removed this content for everywhere, but I want to make sure she knew it was gone. So not something you probably need. I don't know. So does this give you something different to consider?
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. So
thank you. Again,
still image heavy. So let me go to another board. That way, all the boards you create can be right here. Let me go to, the one I just told you about, the co-hosts. So this is just for my regular co-hosts. It's very simple. That's it.
Right.
This is all it is. This is it. I threw their images on here. And then I'm starting to create these little subtiles underneath of here saying, hey, any new topic ideas go here, right? So right now there's a topic list and there's a topic. So we had this one chunked out. I'm going to change all this around and just make a topic square. And then, and that might be all it is. That's it. And then in here though, in the main tile, I'm going to call this like, I'm reading his main. Like Travis tonight, I messaged him and saying, and by the way, like your bio, I'm going to move everybody's core bio in here. So I don't have to, I technically could just search like I showed you earlier, but why not just put it right here that the regular co-host, it's always the same thing. Right. So the URLs or links, everything. Smart. But like I told him, like, dude, I've used your headshot 3 times. So I messaged him tonight saying, hey, feel free to upload any new headshot images here, and tagged him. So now he'll get a notification on that and an email. Erin, same way. I know she has other headshots. That's the only one I have. So I sent her the same thing. That's it. And then Megan, tomorrow morning, she texted me, even though because again, she's not used to this yet. I have extra headshots, but then I said, hey, here's the topic you texted me. I didn't bother tagging her, but I recorded it here just so I have it. Because this content will eventually figure out
that out of her text and just pasted it there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because I want everything in one place. I don't want to live, and then I deleted the text. Because I only have 5.
I'm a huge fan of deleting text.
Yeah. So I have 5 live text histories on my iPhone right now, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's about cleaning up the noise. So you could tell I'm very anal.
Texting slows your phone, like especially if you send pictures and GIFs and stuff like that.
Yep.
It takes up a lot of room on your phone.
Now, here you go. This is the world champion that I'm training under. I'm going to be competing at a kettlebell competition.
Oh, that's awesome.
So again, but then she decided not to hire me because she said there's no money. So I was like, well, then I'm not going to give you away all my work. But I left this set up because we started using it. But anyway, this was an example. So when I was onboarding her as a client, she did hire me for 2 months. I had all these cool custom, like I was telling you, I did all this. I took her logo And I said, okay, well, what if you decide to do Vimeo content? What if you did decide Vimeo versus YouTube, event marketing? Again, we'll dump all the content images for the website here. Anything verbiage related here, right? Chunking. Like, oh, you have somebody writing your blog content, tell them to stick it here. Stick all your images here, and then we'll start building those out into web pages, right? So this was my process flow to start working with her web designer. There's still a lot more tweaking I planned, but I wanted to help her understand, like, hey, this needs to be the core, our headquarters of communication, because I don't work for your web designer. I don't work for your videographer, right?
Right.
So as you can see, this is a great way. This was going to become like a team building system because her website still hasn't gone live yet. And she paid for it a year ago. So anyway, process flows.
But I got to say, when you do have all these different team members and you want people to communicate and you want people, it's tough because, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say I get 300 to 400 emails a day.
Yeah.
And I cannot, stuff just keeps getting pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. And I miss stuff. And I can only imagine everyone else is missing stuff too. It's just too much.
Yeah.
And you hope you see things, or you do that thing like where you see it and you're like, okay, I got to remember to get back to them. And then a week later, you're like, oh!
Yeah. So before Trello, for years, I did everything with email subfolders, or what does Google call them? Your labels, right?
Yeah. And I've tried to do that too.
Because are you an old school Outlook girl?
Well, I used to love my Outlook back in the day when I was on Windows, and Outlook had to-do lists and calendar and email all coordinated. Okay. Yeah. I miss those days. But now I'm on Mac and all those things are separate. And now I use Todoist, Trello, and it's good. I mean, actually the system is good, but email is the one thing where it's like, boy, oh boy, it's insane.
So interesting here.
And most of my clients prefer to communicate, to book sessions and to communicate via email. I at least have my agents now communicating via text, so I make sure I see it to book me via text, but it's a lot. So
according to Trello, there's a file size limit. That's why we could not upload large files.
Okay.
That's right. We could not do... I don't know if we could do full episodes, because hold on a second. What is a normal, what's like your normal file clip size? Voiceover's got to be short.
Oh, yeah. For that, I mean, it depends on if I'm recording and sending them the stuff or not. But like for the most part, I would just upload demos, and demos can be anywhere from, 2 megabytes to 10 megabytes. So those are very
Here you go.
doable.
So you got a 10 meg file upload limit per attachment. However, like I'm a Trello Gold member for $5. So I can go up to 250.
Right. But you're going to have some episodes that are longer, that are larger than that.
Yeah, that's why I did run into this problem before. There we go. Anyway, but there's no limit on the number of attachments in those tiles. And neither is there an account data storage limit.
Good.
So if most of your voiceover stuff is short, you might want to stay Trello for 85 to 90% of your strategy. And then anything bigger, maybe build out that backup Google Drive system, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what are you guys using now?
Oh, for Vinny's podcast?
No, I mean, let's say the voiceover business or whatever. Like, is it... Is there cloud-based storage, or is it all in somebody's server at their office?
I there's a website that holds people's demos, and that's it.
Okay.
But it couldn't hurt to keep them stored somewhere else.
Yeah. So this is good to know, because admittedly, I never bothered searching it because it was never a top priority for me. And let me just see this. Let's see here. Oh, this is an old board I built back when I first started using this. Oh yeah. So I was doing blog content for my buddy's CrossFit gym. So again, we never really kept going with it, but this is very limited, right? It was just new content, editing phase, final draft, and then, hey, it's published.
But you know what? Sometimes you just need that, because when you start to blog, or when you start to write recipes, or whatever your content is, you start to think of ideas.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you need a place to dump all those ideas.
So you know what? Here we go. Best of both worlds. I would take your design of what you showed me earlier and mix it with my design. So for example, maybe this first column, all new ideas is all text-based.
Right.
So that way, like these first 3 boards here, like they don't get spaced out too far by images.
Right.
So that's a nice, clean, huge column of ideas. And maybe you alphabetize them, right?
Right.
Or maybe that's not, maybe you create a list. It's like through.
What I do, I like looking at the ideas. I like looking at that because every Tuesday and Thursday when Jackie's going to go to the grocery store and we're going to cook to make new recipes, I like to look at the ideas and go, what am I in the mood to make today? Or what have we not made in a long time? You know what I mean? Oh, we need something. Oh, Philly cheesesteaks. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the innards of a Philly. You know what I mean? I just like look at it and then I make my grocery list out of that. So that thing is very important.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I think, right before we flew back from Colorado, we caught up with one of her friends like a couple days before we left. The chick ordered this amazing salad. It was a cheesesteak salad.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And let me tell you, it was a Philly cheesesteak salad, no bread, no grains. I was like,
so good.
I took a bite of that shit. I was like, hell yeah, don't put any dressing on it yet. I was like, because we know about dressings.
Yes, exactly.
People are going to learn about NSNG and Eat Happy on this video.
Yes, they will.
Freaking do it. So the other cool thing is I want to show you is, because I have a feeling that if you get really good at this, you may end up starting to build a lot of boards. Right. Right? Because you might have, let's say, 5 different boards for your assistants to, like maybe you have a board specific for this project, a board for this project, and then within that project, you have multiple lists of tiles. Okay. Right. But one thing I like about this feature is you can do a starred boards feature. Mm-hmm. So you can star that. What happens is you don't really see it as, I see how this is like recent boards. I can minimize this. It's only because recent board shows you anything you recently clicked on. So I can minimize that. And maybe this is an old dead project. So I can minimize that. Mm-hmm. But then these are my active ones. And this is and I can also categorize them. This is crucial. So I literally create a list of boards. So there's like, these are lists within a board, right? Now I want to create a list of boards. So all 3 of these are assigned to Live the Fuel. Got it. Yeah, that's good. Like I started creating my own website work just for ideas to track for my website. Mm-hmm. So like I want to figure out, there's your boy, Vinny. I want to figure out this new page you guys have now, his Amazon influencers page. Oh yeah, I need to do that too. I want to figure out how to get that. So you have to have a certain amount of followers and a certain amount of likes. But I'm like, dude, if I can monetize my podcast off of that and not bring on sponsorships, I would love that. Yeah. And then create a training video for people to learn how to monetize off of Amazon and not be forced to bring on, ads and shit. Right. So anyway, so like, for example, I'm going to add you in as a voiceover page, right? So there you are, a voiceover page to create for Anna Vocino on the site. Because I want to give back and try and. That's so nice. Because like you're out there now, but it's like, okay, but you're hardcore with Fitness Confidential. So it's like, wait a minute, she's the voiceover artist of my site. So I want to build either an Anna page or a behind the scenes, what is behind all of Live the Fuel's podcast show. Right. And then I'm going to list all of the co-hosts. Like I've already started one for Travis. I'm going to do one for Megan, do one for Aaron, and then use voiceover. And all those will be built into that content page. But then that's now 1, 2, 3, 4 new chunks of content from an SEO perspective that'll benefit each of you. So that's awesome. Sorry. SEO. Yeah. Drop the mic on SEO. Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, that's just that. But the point is, cool. I like the starred board because your top priority shit shoots right to the top. That's good. So like do you have the Trello app on your iPhone? Yeah. So I don't know if you have it. It's open. Have you ever started a board yet, or you only have one board? I do. I only have one board, but I did star it. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I knew it was very important. Let me see if I can send you. I will email you a screenshot of this. I'm trying to bring it up on the camera, but the light is so bright, the camera won't focus on it. Hold on, let me back it up. No, you're not going to be able to see this. Anyway, you see how you can barely see my logo? How do I make it? Oh, hold on. Let me stop sharing. That would help. But here's the thing. Try it again. And I have blue light mode on, so it's already dim, but I don't think the camera's going to be able to pick up on this. Yeah, it's still glowing too bright. But you notice how you see this chunk right up here? Mm-hmm. That's my logo. That is the podcast board moved all the way to the top of the app. So when I open the app, that's the first thing I see very big because I starred that one. So they've done little things to help certain boards stand out above the rest. And then if I scroll down, they're automatically in alphabetical order. I have the CrossFit Adoration section of boards, which is only one. Then I have the physics one, and then the Kettlebell Sport USA one, and then Live the Fuels afterwards, which has 3 boards. So you can really build out a library system of boards. So if you want to keep your boards lean and mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
So what you've already built, maybe that turns into multiple boards. I don't know.
Right. That's true. That's interesting.
Right. So, and with the whole assistant thing, I'm really thinking that, because as you can see with my design, I've got multiple projects going within one big board.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I don't know. I mean, this is something you're going to have to figure out. It's like, does it make sense to have a separate board for every project?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it's very interesting, and I like it a whole lot. And I've written out and this is just like some ideas of things that I have to do, or make Danielle do.
Or you create a new board, right? And you put all those in Trello and say, hey, and next thing you know, each of those ideas, or if they're project related, become their own tile. I call them tiles. Because I'm image heavy, so I call them tiles. So that way, instead of paper, you tonight say, maybe you create one new board for her and you share access to it to her right away, and then you only put in one tile, and you title that ideas, and then you hit the description, or you'll write to the comments and you type in all that shit as a dashed or bullet pointed list, enter it, and then tag her in the post saying, check out this from tonight. We're going to talk more about it. And now you're no longer on paper. You're in the Trello cloud.
Right.
She can then download. Oh, by the way, if you share, that's another little tip and trick, people watching this video, is you get a free month of Trello for Trello Gold. Like I pay for it, $5. It's cheap. Anyway, you get a free month for every person that you refer and they download the free app. Oh,
that's cool.
Right? So once she downloads Trello and she installs it and she registers her login and everything, you get a free month of Trello Gold.
That's cool.
So that's how I started trying out Trello Gold, because I didn't have all the cool custom branding and like the logo in the backdrop. And I'll show that one more time, because you noticed how, and there's really right now there's only 2 ways to do custom branding, but like my logo's huge on this one, but let me go back here. But obviously Kettlebell Sport, I think I tiled her logo. Let me see here. Oh, that's her team. See, I see here. This is the Kettlebell Sport USA team. So you notice how when I clicked on a second, I clicked here on physics.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you don't click on the actual board because you created a list,
it'll take you to the team that has the list.
See
of
that?
boards. Right.
There's Live the Fuel, right?
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to, like, you might decide to do a full list of boards because you have this way of navigating to view everything.
Right.
But that's just something to think about. But anyway, within these boards, like, obviously that one, let me go back here.
Almost done.
Yep. Yeah, we're finishing up. So let me switch here. Boom, boom, boom. And the internet all of a sudden is slowing down.
Internets.
See, this is the problem when you go image heavy, right?
Yeah.
So there's another tip. Maybe you want a certain boards to be super fast and navigatable. Right. You might not want to have images. So like you said, with your voiceover files and voice clips, recordings, etc., I really agree with you on that. I think you would keep it text and attachment based if they're all small enough, and you're fine. So this one, she's one big photo. Oh, it was CrossFit Adoration. That's what it was. This one has the tile.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that now. Mm-hmm.
So again, is that going to impact you right away? No. But for me, because I have clients and they're interacting with these boards, I wanted to give them a nice little extra touch, a little extra flair. You can have fun with it. It's $5. It's $5. But also when she downloads, you can get a free month and try it out. So that's
really cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Now my head is like, but also because wine.
Well, so real quick, before we started, you had these 4 key goals. Process flow tracking. I definitely think we clearly discussed that.
We covered that.
I'm going to come back to this one. Keywords and searchability. I showed you how easy that was. It's going to find anything for that search field. It's awesome.
Yep.
And then archiving.
We talked about.
You can archive. You've probably seen that. You can click on the 3 dot option and archive that one tile.
Yeah.
I just use that as a delete feature. Because I want stuff, like what if I change my mind, I want to go back and look something. That's why I created those big, long publish columns on the end.
Right.
So that's going to be up to you.
Yeah.
How you want to do things. Now, back to your billing and rates tracking. Do you feel that now you've seen the 4 different versions of how I built shit, can you build a board? Because I'm thinking it.
I have a board with just rates.
Ooh. Okay.
I do have that.
So you already have that.
Yeah, which I use for a reference. It's in there.
But
what I do is I track boards of things that have to be billed to clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so I basically put the language in Trello so that later when I go to invoice clients, I could just copy and paste it into QuickBooks and make an invoice.
Have you created titles for your rate categories?
No.
Like let's say you have like I love Olympics. So let's say you've got a bronze rate, a silver rate, a gold rate, and then there's like the titanium or the platinum rate. Okay. Right. Like how many rates do you have? A lot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, anyway, let's say
a lot because it's like rates for any possible use of any possible media. So it adds up. But
let's say you somehow built a template to track your rate structure. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could literally use that labeling feature. Obviously, it sounds like you have a lot more than anyway. My point is this. Let's say these are all finished clients that you've done.
Right.
But if I want to go back into like, there you go, my 50th, way back. Megan and Aaron. And maybe these labels.
Wait, share your screen again?
Oops, that would help. There we go. All right. So I'm in my published history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and let's say you don't have images. So let's say all of these published episodes were a build. Like I gave you free marketing on my show. So you're going to pay me for that. Maybe I build all these people, right?
Right.
Just throwing that out there. So maybe this episode, because I gave them double exposure, they got a different rate. So maybe my rates, though, fit into a certain labeling realm.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's smart. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. You can keep creating new labels.
As many labels.
But you're limited by colors, right?
Right.
Or no color. But here's the thing. Maybe you create a tiering. So maybe you have so many rates, but they say, hey, just like I organize my episodes, like, 26 through 50, maybe rate 1 through rate 50 is bronze. Rate 51 through 100 is silver, and so on.
I like the way your brain works.
Sorry. Yeah. It's not always.
It's great.
So now, even though you're limited by these colors, maybe you only want to go off of.
Know what the range is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like figure out how many freaking rates you have. Do you even know?
I don't. I'd have to.
Do you at least have your rates categorized by usage or business type?
National TV, regional TV, national radio, local radio, internet, pre-roll, for sure.
So then what if there's maybe these colors aren't even that then? Maybe these colors are based on industry or business segment.
Sure.
So green is, maybe you're doing voiceovers for, like the U.S. Forest Service and park systems, stuff like that. So we'll just call the green the government, right? Government money.
Right.
And Government money. And then, yellow is all your corporate entities. And then orange is like news, radio, like that type of stuff. And then burnt orange or whatever the hell color that is, red, I don't know. Like red's basically the podcast world, right?
Right.
So you could chunk it out that way. And then obviously you're going to have a lot of red tags, but you'll be able to edit every single one of those red tags with a title. So I can name 13, 15 different red tags, all different titles.
Right.
And then that'll be in this huge.
But red is the category of, got it.
Right.
Cool.
And then,
that's awesome.
And the other cool thing is you can drag and drop these. You'll be able to move them around and stuff. But anyway, it's going to automatically sort them into the color sections that they're in.
I do like the versatility of this. There's a lot of different, you can customize it for what your business is. Yeah.
And again, I mean, I think there's probably more limits, more stuff out there that, you could totally do. I'm going to turn that off because I don't need it. But yeah, you got a lot of opportunity here.
That's great.
So I'm hoping you feel like you can.
This is amazing.
Yeah. That's why I like it. I mean, I'm still falling in love with it, right? There's still stuff that I haven't really taken full advantage of. And I've literally inspired some new ideas in the back of my head, which is always happening about just from you and I talking tonight. Mm-hmm. So,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Every time I was like, ooh, what if we did that? Ooh, what if I did that? So that's good.
The biggest thing is take your list and prioritize it. Like,
yeah.
You had 4 goals, but these 4 goals have created probably a lot of new idea generation. So,
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Thank you, my friend.
Did you have fun?
Listen, I always have fun whenever my head is swimming with new ideas and I'm excited to implement them. So that's good.
The biggest thing is get that crap off of the paper, create a quick little board tonight from your iPhone or your iPad, right? Leave your computer and maybe create a little board tile and create like your team board between you and her.
Right.
And see where that grows.
That's awesome.
And then who knows, she might fall in love with this shit and start making her own boards for you. I don't know.
Good.
It could be fun.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thank you.
Well, are you going to have another glass of wine?
No, I haven't finished this glass of wine. I have to go eat food.
There you go. Good call. That's right. You're a few hours behind me. All right.
Yeah.
Please go eat.
Thank you.
I had so much fun. Like, it's fun to be able to connect with you on a different angle.
Fun. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for taking the time to put this effort into it. So I really appreciate it. You are helping me organize my business. Thank you.
It's fun. That's the biggest trick is how do you make the pain in the ass shit fun?
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And not feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I'm here for. If I can help you,
yay.
Feel free to message me or something like, yo, Scott, what do you think about this? I don't know. That's what we do. You come on my show, I come on your show.
Yeah.
I buy your books, you got.
You need to write a book so I can buy it.
I'm working. I at least started the table of contents. Like, I just need to give me like.
Oh, that's good. No, that's a start.
I don't know if that's the right start or not, but I'm on vacation. Like, I set one goal. I'm like, dude, if I wrote a book about from farm kid to corporate world to wildland firefighter to entrepreneur, like that lifestyle shift, like what would obviously the core of it's the firefighting, the life-changing experience. Like, what would I write about? And so I at least chunked it out and what it could be.
That's good.
So is that a good way to start?
I think that's the best way to start.
Okay.
Table of contents helps you organize your thoughts, and then you got to get in there and write to meet.
Or there's that, what's that site that you pay $1 a minute and it transcribes your audio files?
Or you can dictate it.
Well, there's a site for that. Anyway, a friend of mine said, Scott, she's like, you probably have talked so much about firefighting randomly throughout your podcast history. She's like, why don't you just take a podcast episode like once a month and just submit it to them? And it's probably $30 to $60 depending on how long the episode is, but they'll transcribe that data, send it back to you, and then you'll have too much info. And then you just chunk out all the good shit you want.
Edit it down, yeah.
And then just add it and you fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So that could be where I go because I really hate writing.
I'm with you.
Yeah. At least you have photographs and beautiful recipes. So I'm not taking anything away from you because it still sounds like it's very crazy. But I really see an Eat Happy board.
Yeah. It's definitely time to take advantage of Trello
That's going to be huge for you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
You have so much visualization and like I would literally have an images board separately, like create your Eat Happy list team. And then you have a recipes board. So it's all heavy text. So just title and then what's going on in there. Right. And then you have your images thing. And then those two boards merge one day and you drag content from both of them and you build the book.
Yeah.
That's just off the top of my head.
That's great.
So, go eat.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't want your husband flipping me off again.
He's about to. He's going to come back in here and be like, what are we doing?
All right.
Thank you, my friend.
For our followers and listeners who end up seeing this video online, Eat Happy Cookbook, okay? NSNG lifestyle, no sugars, no grains. Get healthy, people, and use her cookbook because it's freaking awesome. And who knows? People who see this after October 2018, there'll be another one. So.
Oh, I hope so.
Did I guess that date right?
November. Don't
November.
rush me.
Okay. Tell you what, when people see this in 2019,
buy both books.
You'll have buy both books.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, girl.
All right. I'll see you later.
Have a great night. It's been a blast.
Bye.
Bye.